Another mystery buried deep in the hills of eastern Washington keeps resurfacing, a bottomless pit said to be a pathway to the paranormal.
For many years, people have told scary stories about the deep and dark hole on Mels Land. This hole is so deep that no one has ever found the bottom. Some say animals came back to life, and radios played sounds from the past near it. The most shocking event, however, was the first time a drone was thrown into Mels Hole. The drone, loaded with a camera, got to a depth never before achieved. Everyone was shocked and afraid by what it revealed. Was it a portal to a different world? Or was there something worse moving there? In that area, what did the drone actually find? Do you have the guts to find out the truth? Join us in this video as we discuss the details. The terrific sight inside the Mels Hole. Scares the Hole. Mels Hole is a place that has raised a lot of talk. It is in the eastern part of Washington and is totally different from any other place you may have seen. Many say that strange things stay there, and some even said that they might be tied to other worlds or scary things that we don't fully understand. The story really started to get big when a man named Mel Waters called a late-night radio show back in 1997. That show was called Coast to Coast AM, and it was known for talking about weird and spooky things that most people don't hear about on the news. Mel told everyone listening that he has a piece of land close to a town called Ellensburg in Washington. On this land, there was a hole. But this was not just any normal hole in the ground like a well or a cave. Mel said this hole had no bottom at all. It went down forever. He said he put fishing line into it and he kept putting more and more line, one spool after another, for what he said was over 15 miles. But no matter how much line he put in, it never touched anything at the bottom. No dirt, no rocks, no water, no sound, just endless black emptiness. People who lived nearby had been using this hole for a long time to throw away things they didn't want anymore. They threw broken fridges, old trash, and even dead animals into the hole. But when they dropped these things, there was no noise. Nothing. It was like the hole swallowed everything up without making a sound at all. Dogs didn't want to go near it. Birds would not even fly over it. Mel said that when you stood close to the hole, the air felt heavy, almost like it was holding its breath or like the ground itself was alive and waiting. Long before Mel ever bought the land, Native American people knew about that area. They weren't just moved by the strange space. They truly thought it was harmful for people and cursed. They said that it was more like a doorway that leads to another place, one that people are not meant to enter, than just a hole in the ground. They told people to stay away from it, gave it names, and told stories about it. Some even tried to find out how deep the hole is. They used heavy rocks, ropes, and tools, but they were not able to find out because it was too deep. It didn't act like a normal hole at all. When they were done trying, they said they felt like the land was watching them, like it had eyes hidden somewhere under the ground. A drone was thrown into the hole to see what was really inside. But everyone was shocked by what it caught. It showed smooth walls, strange lights, freezing cold temperatures, and a tall, dark shape that seemed to be waiting, rather than just rocks or empty space. People were frightened when they saw this. Something alive and dangerous seemed to be hidden deep within the hole. Why did the mystery resurface even more strongly years later if Mel had indeed left and the tale had faded? Stay tuned for more. The Disappearance, the Return, and the Internet Revival. Years went by, and people slowly forgot about the old radio call. It became one of those stories people might tell around a campfire, just for fun. But then something new happened. Some people shared a set of coordinates online. These were supposed to be the location of the hole. Satellite pictures showed a weird round spot near a place called Manastash Ridge. In that circle, there were no trees, no grass, no paths going in or out. It looked bald, like the ground had been wiped clean. Then, an extremely odd thing occurred. The region began to appear hazy in the satellite photos. Similar to how some covert military installations are concealed on internet maps, it appeared as though someone no longer wanted people to see it. People became even more certain that something strange was taking place there as a result. Online communication and idea sharing began. Some believed the hole might have been made by aliens. Some speculated that it might be a location where the government was using odd weapons in covert experiments. Some thought it was a rift or fracture in reality, a rip in the world that opened up a new dimension. Some people thought it was a giant lava tube that went all the way down to the middle of the earth. The government's quick reaction to block off the area made people even more suspicious. Mels said that after his first radio call, unmarked cars started showing up near his home. He saw tire tracks where there were none before, and footprints from heavy boots. One day, when he came back home, he found men wearing yellow hazmat suits and holding clipboards all around his land. They didn't answer any of his questions. They told him that he couldn't go back to his own land because of safety concerns. They said there had been a plane crash, but Mel didn't see any wreckage, rescue workers, or news stories about a crash. Then, Mel said he was offered money. They told him he would get $25,000 a year if he left the country and never talked about the hole again. If he didn't agree, they hinted that they could make big problems for him, like saying there was an illegal lab on his land. Mel felt he had no choice, so he left. He went to Australia and stayed away for years. In 2002, Mel came back and called the same radio show. But he was different. He sounded slower and weaker. He said he couldn't remember everything that happened to him. He had scars on his body that he didn't remember getting. He talked about waking up in strange places without knowing how he got there. It was like parts of his life had been erased or cleaned out. He still believed everything he had said about the first hole, and even mentioned another hole in Nevada that was supposed to be even more mysterious and dangerous. When Mel disappeared again, people thought the story would die out. But it didn't. Years later, the story popped up again on the internet. Young people started sharing clips from Mel's old radio calls on TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube. Someone posted a satellite picture and a list of GPS points that matched Mel's old directions. People zoomed in and saw that same weird bald circle in the forest. Then, not long after, the satellite image was blurred. This made people believe even more that the government was hiding something. When curious people finally decided to see the hole for themselves, what did they really find deep inside? Let's find out. The 2023 descent and the terrifying discovery. Groups of people started to go look for the hole. They didn't just bring flashlights. They brought drones, ground scanners, special heat cameras, and other advanced tools. These were not just teenagers looking for a thrill. Some of them were engineers, ex-soldiers, and survival experts who wanted to prove what was really there. Strange things happened to these groups. One group said their GPS stopped working near the spot. Another said their drone lost signal the second it went over the clearing. One person felt strong pressure in their chest. Some people heard weird static sounds on their microphones, even though there were no electronics around. In 2023, a very serious group of 5 people decided to take it further. They wanted to send a special camera drone down into the hole. They were not doing it for views or likes. They wanted proof. Their drone had a strong wire, a 4K camera, and sensors to measure heat and electric fields. They tested everything twice to be sure it would work. On the day of the drop, there was fog all around. The drone lights flickered as it started to go down. At first, they saw smooth stone walls that looked like they were cut, not like natural rock. There were no roots or bugs or dust. Nothing moved. It was very quiet. The quiet felt heavy, almost alive. As they went deeper, the temperature started to drop very fast. Instead of getting warmer like it should underground, it became freezing cold. At about 300 feet, they saw a tiny flicker of light that pulsed like breathing. At 400 feet, the walls started to shimmer like glass. The magnetic sensors started to act strange, and the compass moved oddly. At 580 feet, something appeared on the camera. It was a tall, thin shape that just stood there. It didn't move. It didn't have a face or color. It was just there. Then, everything went black. The feed stopped. They pulled up the cable, but the drone was gone. Nothing came back up, except the empty wire. When they got back, they looked at the video frame by frame. They saw the smooth walls and the weird lights. The temperature readings showed freezing cold, which made no sense. The lights flashed in a pattern, almost like a code or message. The walls sometimes looked like shiny black glass. They also heard a low sound that turned into short, broken sounds. Some people thought it sounded like a voice that had been reversed and stretched. When they looked closely, they saw that tall, thin shape again. Some people thought they saw eyes reflecting light. When the video was shared online, it spread super fast. Some people said their accounts were banned after they posted it. Others said their hard drives got wiped, or they got strange takedown notices with no contact name. Still, people kept copying and posting it in new ways, so it couldn't be stopped. People argued about what they saw. Some said there was a second, smaller figure in the video. Others focused on the blinking lights that might have been eyes. Paranormal researchers said it proved the hole wasn't just deep, but might be a doorway to somewhere else. The story of Mels Hole, once just an old radio call, turned into a huge internet mystery. The video and the strange events made people wonder what is really hidden under that quiet forest in Washington. Even now, people keep watching the video over and over, trying to see every little detail, every shadow, every light, and every shape hiding in the dark. After losing everything in Washington, did Mel really think his connection to the bottomless pits was over? Or was an even stranger discovery waiting for him? Let's take a closer look. The mysterious hole in Nevada. After Mel lost his land in Washington, where he said there was a deep hole that no one could find the bottom of, something strange happened. One day, Mel was contacted by a Native American tribe who lived far away in the Nevada desert. Mel's story and all the odd things he had seen and done had been told to these people. They reasoned that perhaps he would comprehend something they also had on their property. They thought he might be able to help them solve a very important puzzle. Additionally, the tribe collaborated with a few Basque shepherds who looked after the local sheep. They were also aware of this peculiar hole on their property. Mel was invited to come see it. Because he had previously dealt with a hole, they believed he possessed some unique knowledge. Mel agreed to go because he was very curious, and he wanted to see if this hole was like the one he used to have on his old land. When Mel finally got to Nevada, he saw the hole and was very surprised. The hole looked almost the same as the one he had seen before. It was about 9 feet across. It looked very dark, almost like it was swallowing all the light. When people looked inside, it felt like the hole went on forever. They could not see any end at all. But there was something different, too. This new hole had a metal ring or collar around the top edge. It also had metal rings going down inside it. These rings seemed to go down as far as anyone could look. Mel noticed that when he got close to the hole, the air felt heavy and thick, like it was hard to breathe. It almost felt like there was electricity in the air. He also touched the metal around the hole and said it felt old and worn out, as if many people or things had touched it before. The tribe and the Basque shepherds wanted to know more about this strange hole. They asked Mel to help because he had done tests before. Mel decided to do what he had done before with the Washington hole. He got a long fishing line and tied a heavy weight to it. Then he slowly lowered it into the hole to see if he could find the bottom. Mel kept lowering and lowering the line. It just kept going down and down. There was no sound, no bump, and no sign that the weight had hit anything at all. He used thousands of feet of fishing line and still did not reach the bottom. This made everyone feel very scared and amazed at the same time. They could not believe that it really had no end, just like the first hole. Then, they wanted to test the temperature inside the hole. They got buckets full of ice and carefully lowered them down into the dark hole. When they pulled the buckets back up, something very weird had happened. The ice had not melted at all. Instead, the ice had turned into a hard, white, salt-like substance. They were so surprised. They tried to melt this strange ice by putting it over fire, but it did not melt. It did something even more shocking. It caught fire and started burning. It did not stop burning either. It kept burning for a long time, even for months. No one understood how this was possible. After seeing the strange ice and the horrifying sheep experiment, did Mel and the group really understand the true power of this mysterious Nevada hole? Let's delve deeper. The creature and Mel's mysterious healing. After this shocking discovery, the group decided to do something even more extreme. One man suggested that he would go down into the hole himself to see what was inside. But, in the end, they thought this was too dangerous. So, they decided to use a sheep instead. When they brought the sheep close to the hole, it became very scared. The poor animal started shaking and trying to run away, but they held it and slowly lowered it into the hole in a crate. They lowered it about 1,000 feet down. Then, all of a sudden, the sheep stopped making any sound. At that same moment, the people around the hole heard a loud humming noise coming up from deep inside. When they pulled the sheep back up, they saw that it was dead. Everyone was very scared and confused. They wanted to know what had happened to the animal. So, they decided to cut it open to look inside. When they opened it, they saw something they could not believe. The sheep looked like it had been cooked from the inside. There was also a big, black thing inside its body. It looked like a tumor, but it was moving. They were very scared, but they knew they had to check it. So they slowly and carefully cut it open. Inside this tumor, they found a very strange little creature. Mel said it looked like a baby seal, but not exactly. It looked part seal, part something else. It had some features that looked like a human baby, too. The most creepy thing was its eyes. Its eyes looked very human and seemed to understand them. The little creature was covered in a thick, slimy fluid. It moved very slowly and started stretching its body toward the edge of the table. Mel gently picked it up and carried it to the edge of the hole. After a few seconds, the creature jumped back into the hole and disappeared forever. After this happened, Mel went back home. Later, he went to see his doctor. He found out something very shocking. His cancer, which had been very serious before, was completely gone. The doctors had no explanation for this. Mel believed that maybe the strange creature from the sheep had something to do with it. Not long after this, Mel called Art Bell's radio show, Coast to Coast AM, for the last time. He talked about the hole in Nevada, the strange tests, the creature, and how he had been cured. After this final call in 2002, Mel stopped talking to the public. He never called the show again. He did not answer emails or letters. No one heard from him anymore. Some people say that Mel was taken away by someone and had his memory erased so he would not tell any more secrets. Others think he went into hiding because he was scared. Whatever happened, Mel was an old man by then. Even though he was free from cancer, he knew he would not live forever. In the end, the hole in Nevada stayed a big mystery. People kept talking about it and wondering what really happened. The story made many people scared, curious, and excited all at once. No one knows the full truth, and maybe no one ever will. But Mel's story about the Nevada hole and everything that happened after will always be remembered as one of the strangest and most mysterious stories ever told. What other strange secrets and hidden dangers did people discover after Mel's first shocking experiments? Keep watching for more. Ongoing secrets and strange effects. Many years after Mel Waters first talked about his strange hole in Washington, more stories started coming out. These stories made everything feel even scarier and more mysterious. People living close to the hole, and also near the second hole in Nevada, said that they had visits from strange men. These men arrived in cars that appeared official or wore uniforms. They frequently appeared out of the blue and spoke gravely. According to some residents, these men paid them to keep quiet about the holes. According to some, the men even threatened to harm them if they did not remain silent. People looking at maps online at the same time noticed something odd. Some areas of Mel's land was not clear or blacked out when they looked at it on the map. Many believed that someone was trying to hide the truth because of this. While some experts said this was just a problem with the map or normal privacy settings, many people believed it meant there was a big secret. Mel Waters himself started having scary problems. He said he began to forget important things about his own land. He had trouble remembering simple details, like what he did on some days. He said it felt like parts of his memory were being wiped or blocked on purpose. Each time he found out something new about the holes, his memory problems got worse. One day, Mel said his wife went missing. She was just gone. Mel believed that her disappearance had something to do with the hole and all the strange things happening around it. He never got proof, but he always felt sure it was connected. Mel became even more terrified after that. He frequently claimed to feel as though someone was constantly observing him. Additionally, he claimed that the cameras would either stop working or display only static when people attempted to take images or videos of the holes. Neighbors also told frightening tales. From the direction of the holes, they could hear a deep humming sound at night. The hum seemed to be trembling their walls as well as the ground. The noise kept some people from falling asleep. Some locals also noticed that the metal rim around the Nevada hole had a black, glossy cover. The older villagers warned Mel that this black shine was a warning. They said it suggested that a serious and harmful event might happen soon. Stories were also shared by truck drivers who traveled through towns close to the holes. They described seeing strange equipment and sealed barrels on large trucks. Men in black cars, who appeared very serious, frequently followed these trucks. Later, some truckers even reported feeling like they were being followed. These rumors led people to believe that a major top-secret project was taking place there. Some people also heard talk about fiber optic cables, big magnets, and special screens for radiation being sent to these sites. Nobody ever showed proof, but many people believed it meant that the government or some secret group was doing something important and secret underground. Additionally, there were reports of health issues. Some residents claimed that after spending time close to the holes, they became ill or experienced mental health issues. However, these stories are not supported by official reports. They are merely circulating rumors. People in the area stopped talking as time passed. Some simply remained silent, while others relocated far away. Perhaps they were afraid, or perhaps they were fed up with being questioned all the time. Those who attempted to visit the holes reported seeing warning signs advising them to stay away. Some even spotted armed guards who hurried them away. The legend endures despite the lack of concrete evidence, thanks to tales of mystery and weird effects. Online, a lot of people continue to discuss it and offer their own opinions. Some believe that the holes could be portals to a different reality. Others believe that advanced technology may be concealed underground, or that there may be alien objects inside. The government has yet to issue an official statement confirming the existence of the holes or providing an explanation for the bizarre sightings that people claim to have witnessed. But the mix of missing people, lost memories, blurry maps, and men in black cars keeps the story going. Some people are scared, some are excited, and others are just curious. The ongoing secrecy and all the strange effects around Mels Hole have made it one of the most talked-about mysteries. People still wonder what is really hiding deep underground, and if the truth will ever come out. After hearing all these bizarre experiments and terrifying discoveries, what truly happened to the people and lives connected to Mel's mysterious hole? Let's learn more. The eerie aftermath of Mels Hole. Many locals spoke of strange occurrences on Mel's property. However, one of Mel's neighbors shared one of the most startling tales. This neighbor had a dog, which he cherished. The neighbor was devastated when the dog passed away one day. He decided that the remains of the dog should be thrown into Mel's deep hole. He thought it would be a way to say goodbye and get rid of the body. What followed was the most shocking thing he had ever seen. A few days after he threw it into the hole, the dog came back. It was still wearing its previous collar and was alive. When he called his dog, it did not recognize him at all, which surprised and delighted the neighbor. Even though it looked the same, it did not act the same. The dog looked like he had changed from the friendly dog he had known and had returned from somewhere else. The neighbor became very afraid by this strange event and started to believe that the hole has a power that cannot be explained. In addition to the strange dog story, other strange events were happening in the area around Mels Hole. Mel was particularly interested in the behavior of radios as they approached the hole. Radios used to play music or news clearly, but they started making strange noises and static noises close to the hole. Occasionally, voices or extremely old songs from long-gone shows would be heard on the radio. At times, as if it were picking up signals from the past, the radio would even play broadcasts from many years ago. Mel couldn't figure out why this was taking place. He tried to change the radios, but to no success. The place felt even more strange because of these strange noises and old songs. No one knew how or why, but it looked as if the hole could change sound and time. Mel's personal life began to unravel as he dealt with all of this weird stuff. Mel discovered that all of his money was gone when he checked his bank account one day. It disappeared without any clear reason, and he had no idea where it went. This was a big shock to Mel because he lost everything he had saved over the years. He didn't know who had taken the money or how to get it back, so he felt afraid and powerless. As if losing all his money wasn't enough, Mel also had serious legal issues. He was accused of building unsuitable buildings on his land. He was charged with constructing roads and other buildings without the required permission. Mel was held responsible even though he knew he didn't do any of those things. These charges made Mel's life even more difficult, and he started to lose everything he had worked so hard to obtain, including his property. The combination of the dog coming back to life but acting strange, the radios playing weird old sounds, losing all his money suddenly, and being accused of illegal building made Mel's story even more mysterious and sad. People thought that the hole on Mel's property was not normal because of all these strange and scary happenings. Some believed it was cursed, while others believed it carries powers beyond human understanding. People are still thinking about what really happened to Mel and his big hole. Numerous questions remain unanswered as a result of the events. One of the most bizarre and terrifying stories ever told is Mel's. How do you feel about the legends that surround Mel's Hole? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.